What's up, Nitro Gang? I'm holding two vintage Nitros. This big red beast is the HPI Super Nitro RS4 from around 2003. And its smaller brother is the sickening HPI Nitro RS4 2. Both of these are significant, they're collectible, and they're world-renowned in the HPI touring car circles. And guys, I am lucky enough to have both of these for a little comparison and test drive in this video. Before we take a look at what makes these great and put it on the road for a little test run, I want to say special thanks to all my viewers out there, my channel members. Without you guys, I would not be able to be making Nitro great again, as I have always intended to with this channel. If you're not already a channel member, there's a link in the description to this video. There's a channel button. Press it and become a channel member and be eligible for member-only streams and future Nitro Gang giveaways. I know you're looking at it and you're probably telling yourself, man, Hybrid, will you take the body off and show us exactly what makes this thing sickening? Let's take a moment here to admire how great the HPI bodies truly were during this time period. This is 2003, and Lamborghini bodies, Porsche bodies, pretty much were killing it out there. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the original body for this regular RS4, but this is also 100% stock, and I figured, why not discuss what actually makes a Super Nitro super? So to begin this right, we have some first-hand research, a vintage RC Car Action magazine with the Super Nitro here in the center. Now, this is the Porsche body. In fact, this was about 1 year earlier than the particular one that we have featured in this video. But notice it says Super Nitro RS4 now available, ready to run. These were generally sold as kits and usually not ready to run. The main claim to fame on the Super Nitro RS4 chassis, guys, I will tell you what it is. Well, it's basically longer and it has bigger wheels. I will show you that for some proof in a couple seconds from now. Let me see what it says over here. It says, now getting a Super Nitro RS4 on the street is easier than ever. Our new ready-to-run version is pre-assembled by experts, so you get a car that's right from the start. The Super Nitro RS4 is big, 20% larger stance than the 110 scale touring car, so the handling is very stable, even on bumpy parking lot surfaces. That is really good to know. So they are making a claim that it is 20% longer. So how about this? We will check if in fact it's longer. With the body shell off, we can take a look at the top-down view of the chassis. Now, this one is 100% stock. We do have the rear exhaust can muffler. Yes, it has literally close to zero performance, but this is how they were during this time period. Let's pick up the regular HPI RS4 and put it side by side with its Super Nitro brother. What I'll do for video purposes, we will try to put up the rear wheels together. So center of the wheel nut to the center of the wheel nut. And guys, first thing you do notice, of course, the Super Nitro wheel is much taller. It also is a slick. Gotta tell you guys, I don't know. I don't think this is actually 20% longer at all. Now, in the rear, they're kind of lined up. In the front, the bumper only really comes out a little bit forward. But the wheel, yeah, the wheel is no match. I really like this wheel. The bumper is also larger. Important thing to also notice, these things did not come with a front foam bumper, which is a little weird. At first, I thought I was missing a bumper, but then I took a look at first-hand evidence and check that out. No bumper in the picture either. Now, top-down view. They have a very similar chassis layout. Engine is mounted the same. They both came with a single-speed transmission from the factory. Of course, you could have gotten the optional 2-speed transmission. Now, the older version of the RS4 did also have the can-style muffler going out the back. So, in fact, it would have looked just like the Super Nitro with this exact muffler. That is why there is a hole there in the shock tower. The goal for that hole is to route the rear exhaust system. Now, this is not the original filter. It is relatively restrictive, but it will do the job. Let me point out a couple of the interesting and significant feature differences between the Super Nitro and the regular RS4 2. the main elements you want to look for is chassis, braces, and stiffeners. Notice we have a belt tensioner built into the center chassis brace. That is very nice touch. On these models, you had nothing. You just had a floppy belt. Okay, belt flopness was going around. It was pretty much normal to get a brace with an included belt tensioner. In the front, the RS4 also does not have a belt tensioner. Once again, you would normally bolt up a hop-up part, maybe from Wolfpack Radicals, which I have gotten recently, and we will modify one of these with the Wolfpack Racing parts. They're incredibly awesome. But this belt is super, super floppy. Otherwise, it's in good condition. The Super Nitro RS4, on the other hand, guys, check that out. Built-in belt tensioner, and this is also adjustable and ball bearing supported. Let's take a look at the chassis. To do that, I will just simply flip them upside down, kind of put them on the side. All right, the Super Nitro RS4 chassis, I kind of like a little more. Notice we have a great weight saving cutout. We also have a couple more weight saving cutouts over here. Very good access to the flywheel, and the same thing with the regular Nitro RS4. Otherwise, they're kind of similar, right? Well, because, you know, it's a Super Nitro, but in fact, just looking at the chassis alone, guys, Super Nitro versus regular RS4, they're in fact completely different cars. Now, one of the modern problems with a chassis layout like this is the wheel size. Since this wheel size really belongs to only this class, good luck finding wheels for the Super Nitro RS4. Now, I did my due diligence before this video. And of course, when you say something bad, you should always have a little bit of a suggestion, a backup plan, or maybe a way to make a Nitro great again. And I did determine that the new Traxxas Fortec 3.0 wheels are basically the same size as this. They should also have similar size hubs. You cannot run 10 scale wheels on these cars. Notice they are completely a different size. I also do prefer the ride height on the Super Nitro RS4. It's very good ride height. This one is a little, it seems tall, but that's because it's kind of like at an angle where I'm recording right now. Well, guys, that was kind of a small intro. Don't want to get into this too deep. What I want to do is fire up the original HPI 15 FE Nitro Star engine and run it in its 100% stock setting. By the way, you will notice it runs extremely rich. That is because this model uses a single needle carb, which is only the high speed needle. And guess what? You don't even need a screwdriver to adjust it. Now that is very user friendly. Doing a quick preheat, these engines really don't require it. They are ABN engines, not known for the highest of compression, but this is vintage. We are running 30% nitro, so I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. We'll have the preheater here on a little bit. So what I want to say, another major benefit of running the Super Nitro, they run regular 10th scale electronics. Small engines, nothing crazy, and they're extremely fuel efficient. All right, that should be okay. We're not going to preheat it too much. Let's go over here to the included primer. What I'll do, we'll prime it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just saw fuel entering the carb. These are the original fuel lines, and yes, guys, they are extremely thin, but the interior diameter of the fuel line is basically the same as a modern Traxxas fuel line. Well, with that said, I got my glow driver. Let's fire her up. Electronics on, brakes good, fail-safe works, I checked. Let's see how easy it is to fire up a vintage Nitro. Well, question is, how the hell you use this? Okay, it's a twist lock. All right, there we go. Now that is what you call a proper start, guys. Low idle. We got to raise it a little bit. Gonna raise, okay, we had the idle a little too low. I'm gonna raise it here on the radio. We'll do another fire up. Oh, crazy compression, oh my God. All right, a lot of oil in there. We do have some 3-in-1 in the rear. Let's let it warm up. So far, so good. The clutch seems to be in pretty okay condition. It does seem to be moving a little bit forward, but that's fine. Well, guys, I do want to tell you, these stock can mufflers, they run extremely quiet. So why am I yelling? I should probably stop yelling. Okay, sorry about the yelling, guys. Look at that nice rear exhaust. Awesome engine idle. Gotta love a stock ready to run from the early 2000s, because I know I sure do. Looks beautiful. Well, we're gonna drive it a little bit right now. I'm gonna put the body shell on. Let's hope it doesn't shut off. I have faith in my vintage HPI tune. Who else could say they can do that? Take their sweet time putting the body clips on with a vintage Nitro. Nobody. By the way, guys, we're not going too crazy. This is an old car. I just want to put a little bit of fuel through it, and then we'll be happy, all right? Let's go. Great idle. Gonna put it down. Well, the body's a little low, but it's running. Looks great. Sounds great. Doing a little average driving right now, guys, one-handed. So one-handed driving, you know. Well, it's pulling a little to the left. I need a little adjustment. Let me come back here to home port. Brakes are awesome, though. I've adjusted the steering trim. Let's do a pass. Well, I think I used the world's worst steering servo. Do a pass towards us. RPM is pretty good, but I can tell the exhaust is super restrictive. Okay, it's leaning out. Self-lean out there. Okay, it leaned out towards the end. That was a proper sound of what you want it to sound like. About 4 seconds of like kind of that idle going up on its own. That's a sign of a proper tune. But of course, guys, since this does not have a an adjustable low-speed needle, that stuff is kind of really irrelevant. Pretty good run. Nothing bad happened. We didn't have a runaway. Nobody got any speeding tickets. Job well done. Nitro World Order.
Nitro World Order.